Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meshIQ Tech Talk. This is the first in a series of Tech Talks that meshIQ will be presenting bi-weekly. The one we have up today is called Introducing meshIQ, industry's first purpose-built observability platform for messaging, event processing, and streaming across hybrid cloud. Our speaker today is Navdeep Sidhu. He's the new CEO at meshIQ. Navdeep, you can take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer. And in the first Tech Talk Tuesday today, we are going to introduce our new branding and the new name for Nastal Technologies as we transition to meshIQ. And I hope you can see my screen, but today's session is mainly about why we are transitioning and what does our new name mean and how we are going to better serve our customers. So 3 things we are going to cover today. First is the strategy behind the new name, the renewed focus for our company, and the enhanced value that we are going to bring to our customers. Then we will gear into the platform aspects and talk about key capabilities, the roadmap, and the new innovations we are going to deliver. And then finally, what is next for our customers, partners, prospects. And I will try to cover all these in the next 35 to 40 minutes so that we have some time left for Q&A as well. So if you're not familiar about Nastal, Nastal was established in 1994 and it pioneered the middleware management aspects for the companies. So the solutions for middleware-centric performance monitoring, tracking, analytics, and overall management were the core focus for the company. And from that, the company branched into digital integration, supporting enterprise architectures, delivering operational intelligence, and also Java performance benchmarking. We have been lucky to serve enterprise customers across several industries, banking, retail, insurance, etc., and delivering on a wide range of use cases from payments monitoring, trade surveillance, customer experience, etc. And while we deliver this value to our customers, our core capabilities have evolved from real-time monitoring and analytics, delivering extreme scalability, application tracking, event correlation across MQ and similar platforms. And while we do that, we also support application development, application monitoring with the goal of mission-critical applications running 24/7, 365. Let's introduce our new name and new logo, meshIQ. And the way we define meshIQ is the observability platform for messaging, event processing, and streaming across hybrid cloud. And what do we mean by mesh? So we talked about messaging, event processing, streaming, and hybrid. The messaging is probably the original and the what we call it as a legacy way of exchanging messages between 2 applications, although the new ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ have modernized that space as well. Event processing takes it to the more pub-sub model, and what one could argue that there's a lot of commonality between the MQs, and the ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ are more like event processing. But not going deeper into the name, we kind of segregated these messages, event processing, streaming, into 3 buckets where the messages follow a pre-configured path. Events are more in a pub-sub model. And then we have high-speed data streams provided by streaming technologies like Pulsar, Kafka, and Spark, which are always on and always persisted. And finally, the customers these days have the choice of using some of these technologies on-prem, in the cloud, across multiple clouds, and in a combination of on-prem and cloud, which we call hybrid cloud. So our goal is to provide an observability platform for messaging, event processing, and streaming across hybrid cloud infrastructures. So why did we rebrand the company? Nastal has been a very successful company in business since 1994. Why did we choose to rebrand the company? So first of all, the name should align with the mission. And now we have an expanded mission. We are delivering new capabilities for emergent streaming technologies across hybrid cloud. Now we are going to focus more on Kafka, open source software, including the commercial distributions like Confluent. And the fact is that our new name reflects our new mission. We want to communicate our mission to our customers, prospects, partners, and also internally to our employees. So you will see this renewed focus on Kubernetes and different flavors of Kubernetes, including OpenShift, GKS, AKS, and all our capabilities will be containerized and more focus on Kafka, and all these new capabilities will be delivered on all cloud platforms. Now we are focusing heavily on mesh. Now the question is, why is mesh critical to IT and business? And the fact remains, if you look on the IT side, that the legacy messaging infrastructure is not going anywhere anytime soon. At the same time, IT is dealing with growing streaming requirements. And finally, the apps that are deployed, they are getting deployed across hybrid cloud infrastructure. Even the legacy applications like MQ are being deployed in the cloud. The modern infrastructure for Kafka is also getting deployed on the cloud. So the hybrid cloud reality is something that IT has to live with. On the business side, business needs new applications, new features quickly to compete, to meet the evolving customer engagement models. The customer behavior is changing. The customers need more features in their apps, and the business is struggling to meet those demands. And the engagement, this engagement with the customers requires a combination of old and new applications. And if you look at across both IT and business, the mesh components that we call the messaging, event processing, streaming across hybrid cloud, they are powering the legacy and modern applications, delivering mission critical business outcomes. All right, so quick segue into how we deliver all this. So, and what are the capabilities behind our meshIQ platform? So this is what we call a single pane of glass for observability. So this single pane of glass for observability delivers four key things: governance, introspection, intelligence, and action. Governance is all about implementing access controls across mesh, monitoring change logs, monitoring changes, and rolling back those changes if something goes down. Introspection, on the other hand, is all about finding, browsing, tracing, tracking messages across the mesh, and also speeding up the root cause analysis to detect bottlenecks and fix failures. Intelligence is the ability to gain intelligence into the messages across the mesh and stitching messages into business transactions and piping those messages into AI ML to detect, predict behavior, and also visualizing, identifying, reporting, and analysis. The action, on the other hand, is about automating actions based on events. So looking into the messages, gaining intelligence, and the next step is acting on that intelligence and triggering automations via IT platforms such as Ansible. Now, we actually deliver what we call observability plus plus. There are a lot of platforms who deliver observability at the application level. So first of all, we are the only platform that delivers observability in the mesh. And secondly, we deliver more than just observability because we deliver cross-platform configurations. So if you're using Kafka, Solus, TIBCO, MQ, and you have to manage those configurations across these different platforms, we can handle that. We are the only platform that handles cross-platform configurations to make your life easier, whether it's deployment, whether it's monitoring, whether it is enabling DevOps, and whether it is getting data to predict using AI ML, and also not just observing, but acting in real time as well. And if you look into the center of the circle, there are four capabilities: monitoring, diagnosing, configurations, and DevOps. Those are the real technical capabilities that the platform has, which enable us to provide you a single pane of glass for end-to-end monitoring across on-prem, cloud, and even appliances to detect bottlenecks, prevent failures, outages, and reduce your mean time between failures, and also improve your mean time to recovery. And now with that, we also configure your new artifacts, deploy different topologies, support multiple platforms, make configuration easy as you move between platforms, and ultimately support DevOps. It is a great way to weave integration mesh technologies in your DevOps strategy. With that, you shift left, detect early, and you speed up integration deployments. Now take a quick second to just digest what I just said. And the question is, well, can we live without meshIQ? And the answer is yes. If you want to operate without meshIQ, you can certainly do that. We see a lot of companies who are living without meshIQ. And if you do that, there are four things that happen. First of all, starting from the left-hand side, you will need to have multiple observability tools for mesh. Realize that mesh is not one thing. It's a combination of messaging, event processing, streaming technologies, which could be deployed in any combination across your hybrid cloud infrastructure. So that means you will need multiple monitoring tools. You will end up spending a lot of money, and you will result in a very complicated and complex architecture, which doesn't give you any end-to-end visibility as the information is flowing between MQ, Kafka, TIBCO, SLAs, etc. You will have no end-to-end visibility. And once something goes down, it will be very hard to troubleshoot and fix. And secondly, if you think about cross-platform governance, these different platforms, they will require different roles, different users, different user profiles, administration profiles, etc. So what that means is that the change control becomes enormously complex. The deployment issues will be very complicated to resolve. And if you deploy and something goes wrong, the rollback is almost impossible. And going to the third point, including mesh in DevOps tool chains. So you're building a very smart DevOps tool chain. It enables you to do multiple deployments in a day. So now you start including messaging, event processing, and streaming capabilities in that. And you have to code for each component separately. You will end up with extensive coding, and the fact that these tools, they provide different APIs is another big challenge to overcome. And finally, even within the same tool, different versions of the tool do not work the same way. So you will have to manage that interop, track changes, maintain the APIs and the code you wrote, and also upgrade as some of these mesh technologies upgrade as well. So without meshIQ, including mesh technologies in DevOps tool chains becomes a nightmare. And finally, it is impossible to act in time without meshIQ. So when things go well, things go well. But when things don't go well, you need to start troubleshooting. And without meshIQ and having that same single pane of glass for, for all the technologies within the mesh, the troubleshooting across Kafka and going from Kafka into MQ, into TIBCO, SOLAS, etc., becomes a nightmare. So what happens is troubleshooting just takes longer. And if you have committed 5 nines of those SLAs to your partners, to your internal customers, to your suppliers, you just can't provide that level of support, right? So poor performance results into violation of SLAs, which then results into penalties, or you have to give your customers usage credits. There are a lot of SaaS platforms who cannot deliver the 5 nines of availability to the customers, and they end up issuing usage credits to those. And then finally, you may handle it commercially, you may give usage credits, but you will not have great user satisfaction. So ultimately, what you want to do is you want to troubleshoot these things very quickly, and you want to have a single pane of glass, and you want a single governance tool, and you also want a sophisticated way to weave these mesh technologies into your DevOps tool chain, and this is what meshIQ provides. Okay, so with that, we talked about the name, we talked about what meshIQ brings to the table, and we also talked about what happens if you don't have meshIQ. So in the next section, we will talk about the platform, key capabilities, roadmap, and some of the new innovations you can expect from us. So this section is about upcoming innovations and roadmap, and we have a slight disclaimer that this is for general product direction, and this is intended for information purposes. And we will deliver these as we go along, but not within a specific time frame. Okay, so we will talk about 3 things. And on the product side, first of all, we are embracing open source software in a big way, which will result in improved interoperations or interoperability between our meshIQ platform and other open source products. And it will give our users flexibility to use what they want to use and in the combination that they want to use, ultimately delivering higher ROI and also enabling customers to use the toolset that they have come to love. It could be Prometheus, Grafana, or anything else that they have, and we will work with that. Second is cloud. We are changing the mindset. The cloud first mindset is now ingrained in our DNA, and it's part of our name, so we cannot change that. And that means all our new offerings and our existing offerings will be containerized for easy deployment across hybrid cloud. And finally, on the platform side, we are going to have a common look and feel across our products, and we are going to create products which have a clear control plane for deployment in the cloud and for components that are resident next to the data will be part of our data plane. So our offerings will be twofold. They will be offerings specifically for the control plane and also for the data plane. All right, so talking a little bit more about the OSS focus, Prometheus and Grafana are being used heavily across our customer base. So what we are going to announce and introduce shortly in the market is bidirectional Prometheus and Grafana integration, which means when the meshIQ platform has the data, that data can be seamlessly exchanged with Prometheus store. So you have a lot of data in meshIQ. We are getting the traces, the messages, the analytics, And all that can flow easily into Prometheus in a bidirectional method. So you want to get data from Prometheus into meshIQ or get meshIQ data into Prometheus, that will be fully supported. And Prometheus as a metric store for all mesh metrics will be supported as well. So whatever we can collect on our side from the meshIQ platform, the metrics, the traces, the messages, you want to get them into Prometheus because Prometheus is your data lake for your enterprise storage. You can easily do that. And you want to alert directly from Prometheus, you will be able to do that because now the meshIQ platform can be piped into Prometheus directly. And finally, if your goal is to create a searchable data lake for Prometheus, you can certainly do that. And we will also ship Grafana dashboards as part of our platform. That means that you will have, if you are a Grafana fan and you have Grafana as your enterprise dashboarding technologies, we will give you those Grafana dashboards out of the box to help speed the Grafana adoption on your side. So the diagram on the right-hand side talks about integration mesh, Kafka, MQ, Pulsar, etc. So we talk to the integration mesh, we observe it, we manage it, we control it for you, and we deliver those metrics, traces, messages to you. And it's your choice to keep them in meshIQ platform or take them from meshIQ to Prometheus. So Prometheus will be a first-class citizen in our architecture going forward. And this is a high-level picture of our control plane. So I will touch on some key features and what we are building. So we talk about the observability, management, and control of enterprise mesh, and this is how we deliver it. The meshIQ, first of all, platform will be deployable in the cloud, fully containerized offerings, and it can be deployed on AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, even IBM OpenShift. And it will deliver configuration management, monitoring, observability tracking, and all these components will be part of the control plane, and which will be multi-tenanted. It will have a freemium model, and it will also consolidate UI for a common look and feel. So the ultimate goal is control plane where you set up the policies, and then the policies will determine how you manage configuration, how you do monitoring, and how do you do observability and tracking. And then coming soon, our cloud offering about the control plane. This is a little bit more onto how we are building it. It's going to be built with Terraform and some of the other leading cloud technologies that are being used today. And these Terraform topologies will be per tenant, and then tenant can be deployed on AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, or Red Hat OpenShift. And these containers will basically enable you to deploy this control plane into a container of your choice. And since we have a cloud first mindset now, if you want to obtain this as a service, that service will be available from meshIQ as well. Okay, so that was a little bit about the product, the platform strategy, and also how we are going to support open source technologies. Now, next is, this is a big change. How is it going to impact the customers, partners, and prospects? And what can they expect from us? All right, so let's talk about the customers first. The existing contracts, there is no need to change as meshIQ is a brand name and it is not a legal entity. So meshIQ, we will sell meshIQ, we will talk about meshIQ, but meshIQ is a brand name and the legal entity is still Nastal Technologies. And the contracts, there's no need to change any of that. The existing products, there is no immediate change in the existing products. We will launch new offerings and customers can pick and choose the new offerings. And same thing goes for pricing and packaging. There's no immediate change to the pricing and packaging as well. A lot of our resources and portals have already changed to meshIQ name, and some of the others will change to meshIQ over the next week or so. And all our documentation will be changing over time. You will see some of these changes happening today. Our web presence has changed. Obviously, the new website, meshiq.com, is up and running. Our Git presence has changed. It has been renamed to meshIQ. And also our customer site is now customers.meshiq.com. Similarly, social media has changed. We have a new presence on YouTube with the name meshIQ. We also have a new presence on LinkedIn and also Twitter. So you can like our tweets, share, and follow our LinkedIn presence and watch our videos on YouTube. The links are on this slide. And secondly, we have a lot of partners across the globe. And what can they expect? The existing contracts with the partners, there's no need to change as meshIQ is a brand name. Over time, we will add meshIQ. And if your contract is old and it doesn't have the latest products, we will add the latest products to the contract. And then pricing and packaging, as I mentioned earlier, there's no immediate change. When we launch new cloud products, there'll be new pricing and packaging. We will notify you. The resources and portals, as you noticed on the last slide, a lot of that has already changed to meshIQ, and the documentation, some has changed, some will be changing over time. Okay, and if you are already in a commercial cycle with us, and you're concerned about the name change, there is no reason to be concerned at all. We have tried to answer some of the questions here, and we will take some questions after my slides. But if you're concerned about the code changing, no, the commercial codes will stay the same. We are not changing any codes. Do you need to buy more products? Absolutely not. The existing products are being sold, and when the new product, new capabilities come out, we will issue new pricing for those products and capabilities. Will you support more platforms? Absolutely, yes. The whole idea of naming the company meshIQ is that we want to support messaging, event processing, streaming across hybrid cloud. So if there was any streaming technologies that we don't support today, or a messaging technology, or event processing technology, they will be supported. So in essence, our support for these platforms is going to broaden. It's going to be 2x of what we support today. That means you will be able to have more platforms supported down the road. Resources, portals, documentation, some of that has changed. Some of that will be changing over time. Rest assured, by end of this month, you will see everything changed. And now, just before we go into Q&A, I just wanted to cover this. We are going to engage much more closely with our customers and partners compared to the past. So this year onwards, today is the first Tech Talk Tuesday, and then going forward, every month we will have 2 Tech Talk Tuesdays. And plus, since it's post-COVID, the events are opening up. You will see us at a lot of events. We are about to do 10 events this year. And then if you are not able to catch us on a Tech Talk Tuesday or meet us at an event, you can certainly request a demo. You can go to our website, contact us. You can reach out to us for a demo. We are always happy to showcase our products. And secondly, you can always test drive our products. Our current offerings are available on our website. We have a few free offerings that you can take out for a test drive today. And if you want to preview our new offerings as we build our cloud platform, you will be able to preview our offerings as well. And if you want to closely work with us to shape those offerings, you can join our advisory board as well. And that's my email. You can email me. And if you have any questions after this, you can reach out to Jennifer, or you can reach out to me directly, and we are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I want to thank you all for attending today. I hope you all found this helpful. This will be posted on the meshIQ website, www.meshiq.com, later today. This is the first in a series of Tech Talks by meshIQ, and you will find the next one on February 21st. The topic on that will be a secure self-service integration configuration management console by Richard Nicola, who is our VP of Research and Development and Support. So thank you everyone again, and have a great day.